We are about halfway through October and I still haven't filmed the TBR, but I have been reading and I just started vacation. So let's go through what I've already read, what I'm currently reading, and just a little bit of an ambitious fall TBR. Hello, book friends. It's Alyssa. Welcome back to the channel. Hello, if you are new. I love this time of year. It is my birthday month. It is my favorite month of the year. It is the prettiest month of the year. It is usually when I'm on vacation, and I'm on vacation right now. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk to you about all the books I've already read. Like I said, I did already film this as a TBR. I tried to work around my new schedule and I thought I could do like a softly spoken nighttime with really nice lights. Visually, I love the video. It's beautiful. The audio is subpar. That TBR video has been scratched. It's sad. Really liked it. I really tried. I tried so hard. It's unlisted. So I figured it would just be easier since we're halfway through the month to just kind of do like a mix of summarizing some of the stuff I've read, chit-chatting about some of the books that I have for fall. It's a very big list, and I don't think I'm going to get to all of them in October, but I have a lot of like fall reads that I'd like to prioritize before like Christmas, basically. So this is sort of a nondescript fall TBR for y'all. Let's stop jibber jabbering and let's get into some of the books that I've already read. I've already read about 6 books, I think, in October. We will start with my reread. I reread Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein. It was my last book that I read for the Booker long list, and it was the one book that I was like, I think I have to reread this because I think I might either understand it better or just like it more. And I would say on reread, both of those things are true. I feel like this is the kind of book that the writing is so brilliant that you can keep going back to it and get more every time you read it. And I'm really glad that I did go back. I knew I was going to like it more. Is it 5-star read for me? No, but I definitely went from sort of middling on it to a little bit more towards like 5-star. Like it's like 3.5, 4 stars. The writing itself is like knock it out of the park, like 10 out of 10, amazing. Just all together cohesively, I think the story is a little too, how do I describe this? I just think it's not as easy to connect with. So I as much as I enjoy rereading it, and I will probably like it more every time I do reread it, I need to get myself a copy because I feel like it's the kind of book I'm going to want to reread a lot. On this read, it is not like a 5-star read. Does that make sense? I don't know if any of that makes sense. I reread it and I'm glad I reread it. Probably won't win the Booker though, but I enjoyed it. It's definitely better than some of the other books that are on the Booker shortlist, in my humble opinion. I also read Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. This is a fantastic kind of horror. It's got some body horror in it. It's got a lot of commentary on like gentrification, racism, beauty culture, beauty standards, natural beauty, the whole like Gwyneth Paltrow goop movement, woo woo stuff, money, and it's like this pursuit of youth and living sort of an eternal life in some shape, or form. Uh, I loved this. This book is so good. I'm trying to get Naomi to read it so that we can talk about it in more in depth on the podcast. But it is such a good book, perfect for the season. Just a wonderful read any time of the year. Please go out and get this book. Love this book so much. So good. It's so good. I think those are all the books that I read that I don't own physically. I'm just checking my list here on Notion. And if anything's like a little weird on my setup, I got a new desk. I've got like I've got all this new stuff. I'm trying to get all of my old gear to sort of mesh with my new gear and fill in like holes and get new stuff to like make everything work better. So like my mic isn't where it normally is. We're doing our best here. That's probably half the reason why my whispery sort of soft-spoken video didn't work. My mic was in the wrong spot. I already have a review of this on the channel, but Brainworms by Allison Rumfitt. This is their newest novel, and I enjoyed this, but like I said in my review, it is one, not as good as Tell Me I'm Worthless. Like, in my humble opinion, it's not as good. It is definitely more grotesque and body horror and just makes you just viscerally cringe, and I did enjoy it, but I'm gonna say, like, this isn't gonna be for everybody. I think if you're the kind of person that reads horror and you read, like, splatterpunk and that's, like, your jam, you would find this kinda, like you would find this palatable. I don't think you would find this, like, very offensive or over the top or anything like that. I think you'd just be like, "Yeah, this is fine." But there were scenes that I just ooh, they were bad. They were bad. I loved it, but they were bad. Um, Fantastic commentary on turfs and, like, hate and depravity and who gets to decide that you're depraved, dehumanizing people, a lot of what's going on currently in British politics with the rise of more right wing fascist governments. But also, you see that here in the States and in other places as well. It's sweeping the world. Joy. Still what you know and love from Alison Rumfitt in that regard, but I think the story itself is a little sloppy and it's not going to be for everybody. Just the subject matter, the way that it's dealt with, the horror subject matter, that subject matter, not going to be for everybody. But I still loved it. I finally finished this collection of poetry from Sandra Cisneros. I'm working on my Spanish, okay, guys? And this is Women Without Shame. And I absolutely loved these poems. These are fantastic. I found a lot of them incredibly relatable as an older woman. She's older than I am, but there's something that happens as you approach middle age in womanhood, and I think there's a humor and there's an intelligence that comes as you age in general, but also as you age as a woman. And a lot of those poems made me chuckle or just remember things or feel seen. But there's also a lot of poems that speak to her life as a Mexican American, as living in Mexico, as a Latina, and I found those very insightful and I really enjoyed them. And I loved the mix of Spanish in here because I did attempt to like translate some things before I pulled out the Google Translate, and it was kind of nice. I think kind of would like more books that mix a little English and Spanish so that it makes me try to work on my Spanish a bit more because I need to. I need to. But there is one poem in here that I kind of want to do a reading of, just a video that is just me reading this poem. It's called You Better Not Put Me in a Poem, and I think it is hilarious. I'm hoping that I can record that and not get in trouble for it. One day when I have some quiet and the energy, I'm going to try to nicely narrate that poem. I think it's, or is that what you say? I don't know. Orate? Just want to try to nicely like make a nice little video that is just reading that poem. I think it'll be lovely. I think people will enjoy it. But I highly recommend that collection. Also, her book, The House of Mango Street, is phenomenal. If you've never read that, please read that. It's so good. It is so good. There's so much humor wrapped up in her writing. So even when she's talking about something that is dark or depressing or heavy, there is also this dark humor or just this levity. There's a nice balance, is what I'm trying to say. I read book two in Her Majesty's Royal Coven trilogy. This is The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. I don't know how to talk about this because this is book two in a series. But I'm just gonna say I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I enjoy it more than the first one because I can't remember the first one well enough where I would feel confident saying this is better or worse than it. But I feel like I enjoyed it at least equally as much. The ending, just like in the other book, I feel like they do a really good job. Juno Dawson does a really good job of like ramping up to an ending that gets like just crazy enough to have you like flipping the pages and really want to find out what's going to happen. And I need the third book basically. I can't wait for it to come out because I'm going to reread one and two and then just read the third one so that I can just binge them all together. The commentary on society and politics and patriarchy and so many things. There's so much in these books that they're not just a story about witches. It's so good. It's so well done. I love it so much. If you've never read these, please pick these up. And then the last book I finished is Death Valley by Melissa Broder. This is her newest book. It just came out I want to say a couple weeks ago, and I am in love with this book. I'm going to do a separate review of this on the channel as well, so there will be a standalone review in case, anybody ever wants to watch it. But I really love this. I think that I've only ever read Pisces, and for me, I really enjoyed the writing in Pisces. I like the way Broder voices her characters, but I didn't like the way the story itself as a plot like ended. I will also say that this kind of similarly has an issue where I don't think that like endings are her strong suit. I feel like she doesn't know how to wrap up a story, but I also for this one, don't hold it against her because I loved everything about this book outside of that. So the little bit of like sort of fumbling to end it and wrap it up and tie it in a bow or however she tries to finish the book, I didn't care because the rest of this book was so good. It's basically the story of a woman who's dealing with the grief and stress of being a caregiver, of watching loved ones be incredibly ill. Her husband has some sort of chronic illness that makes him very sick, and then her dad is in like an accident, and he keeps like coding, and he's in the ICU. And I just found this incredibly interesting from the perspective of a nurse. There's a lot of discussion about being a family member in an ICU, and it's something that I'm very familiar with as an ICU nurse. And I really enjoyed hearing the family side of it all, but I also really loved her exploration of grief, and I really loved the humor and the intrusive thoughts that get thrown in here and there that are funny or just weird. And that makes Broder's characters way more believable than maybe other characters you read in a book. If you can hear my stomach, I'm sorry, I need to eat something. I also wonder how much of this is autobiographical or autofiction. I don't know. I would need to watch some reviews or interviews, I mean. But definitely felt a little different than Pisces. And I'm excited to get into Milk Fed next on my Broder journey. But love this. Please pick this up. This was fantastic. Currently reading, like actually actively reading, I started this collection of horror stories, like horror short stories from this author, Christopher Hawkins. This is Suburban Monsters. There's 13 stories. The first one was really lovely. I'm in the middle of the third one right now. This is my new like at work book, so I'm not rushing through this. I was reading Women Without Shame, that collection of poetry at work for over the course of a couple weeks, I think like 6 weeks. And so this will be my new one, but I'm not at work, so I might end up reading them, over the course of the next week. In general, I'm trying to have like short story collection or a poetry collection in my purse at all times in case like I have a moment on break or whatever, just to get a little bit of reading done. Also, this is a beautiful edition that came from a Twisted Retreat box, which I have the unboxing for this. There was also another book in that box, and I have another unboxing I have to film as well today. But this they're like beautiful. Like they've switched to like naked books. I love it. This like faux leather naked book. It feels like luxurious while you're reading it. So this is fun. I'm enjoying these. Love me some scary stories for October season. And then we have a stack of books that I either agreed to buddy read or just want to read that are calling me. And I don't know how I'm going to get to all of these, but hey, maybe it'll inspire you to pick one of them up. So I'm starting these today. I'm going to read the first couple chapters of each of these today whenever I'm done editing videos because we're going to be somewhere I don't have internet access really or like strong internet access for a week in a couple days. Basically, I have today to film and get some editing done and get some things uploaded and so that I can space them out when I access or like whatever. I can manage most things from my phone once they're on YouTube, but anyway, I'm going to start at least a chapter or two of each of these today. And the first is Malice by John Gwynne. I'm not going to tell you a lot about these books because I don't know a lot about all of them, But I'll tell you what I do know. I know very little about this. I just know that I've agreed to read this quartet for a very long time. I have all four, and this is book one of the Faithful and the Fallen. Faithful and the Fallen. I always want to call them the Fateful and the Fallen. The Faithful and the Fallen. So this is there's a bunch of my girlfriends and I are reading this. It is time. Finally, everybody agreed, and I cried on the inside because it wasn't even on my original TBR list. But here it is, Malice, John Gwynne. And then the other chunky book that I'm prioritizing this month is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which I am reading with Rogers Reads. And we read Red Rising last month. And I don't think, did I do a September wrap up yet? I haven't done that wrap up. Oh my God, I have to do my wrap up. Anyway, so we decided to embark on this journey together. So this is book two. Hopefully it gets better. I just got his Voxer notes for part one, and he says it's very melodramatic, like a soap opera. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll see. We'll get there. Let's see if I like it more than book one. And then the other priority book on this list is our Patreon pick because we didn't get to it in September. So the September is now the October, and it is The Will of the Many by James Islington, and we just have to get this done. It's got like fantasy and dark academia kind of vibes. I believe it's set in a school. I'm excited to read it. I just need to actually like sit down and read it, and people need to stop signing me. I need to stop signing myself up to do buddy reads with people because it's too much. I'm overwhelmed, but yet I keep doing it. I'm going to agree to something probably tomorrow. It's going to happen. Anyway, also high on the list of prioritization of reading is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I keep saying I'm going to read this book. I don't read it. It's coming out in November. I would like to have it read before it comes out. I'd like to have a review like I did with Brainworms there and ready to go on pub day. And I just hope it's good. And maybe I can listen to it. I signed up to do this knit along with some friends. So I'm going to have a lot of knitting to do. I've got to catch up. I'm behind on clues. It's a mystery knit along. And I need to catch up and do some knitting and some listening to books, and I have this on audiobook as an ALC, and I just need to stop putting it off. I think there's part of me that's scared that, like, what if I don't like it? Let's be honest. I think I'm scared. How could I not like it? Anyway, moving on. Also, as something that I am blaming on Roger is reading The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. And if I am honest with y'all, myself, the spaghetti monster in the sky, I don't think I'm going to get to this in October. I just don't think I'm going to get to it in October. I think that I'm going to maybe start it, but I don't think I'm going to finish it in October. I think this is just something that I would very much like to have read in October, and I'm going to not get there because now I'm reading Malice and Golden Sun, and I don't know how I'm going to get this in there. I don't know. I don't know how that, I don't think it's going to happen. This isn't really like a spooky season or fall vibe, but I have this, and I really just want to get to it, and it's High Time by Hannah Rothschild, and this is the lady who wrote House of Trelawney, and I have eyed that book and picked it up so many times, either at the thrift store, or at the bookstore, and thought about buying it, and I thought about reading it, and I never did. And Knopf sent me this, and this is the second book. I believe they're companions, and I I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna see how I like it. And if I like it, I'm finally gonna pick up that book. If I don't like it, then I'm gonna move on. Because you ever just see something enough times and you're like, is this for me? I don't know. So we're gonna find out with this. But this is about a highborn British family and it's filled with uh, outrageous characters. It's biting and satirical and also poignant and moving. It's a delicious story of madness, mayhem, and mischief run amok. Sounds like it's going to be fun. We have a bit of a drive, not too long. Maybe I'll start it on the drive. I don't know. I don't think I can read Golden Sun or like Malice while we're driving. It seems like that's going to require too much of my brain. But this might be fun. So this might be our in the car while Jesus drives book, or Jesus will make me drive. Tour Teen sent me a copy of Anna Dressed in Blood. This is a new edition that has like a little novella in the back. And I have been wanting to read the story for so freaking long. And when they reached out and they said, hey, do you want this? I said, yes, because I need to I want to. So maybe if I have time, maybe in October, maybe November, sometime before the Christmas tree goes up, I want to have read this. I don't know what these hand motions are. Enjoy them. I had every intention of starting my Robin Hobb journey back in September, and that didn't freaking happen because I agreed to read Red Rising. So Hobb took a little jump into October. Will I get to you this month? I don't know. But again, before the Christmas trees come out, before the snow starts to fall, I would like to have read Assassin's Apprentice. I need to know if this is for me, if I am a Hob girly. I don't know. Some of you say I am. Some of you are excited for me to start this. I need more time. How do I get more time? How do I become a professional booktuber so I have more time to read? Then I probably will have to read things I don't want to read, and then that'll be it's a whole nother can of worms. There are two books that are kind of perpetually on my spooky season, fall, like vibes list that I never get to. One is Black Chalk by Christopher Yates. This is a dark academia that's set in Oxford. There's a bunch of students that have a game of consequences that they play that gets out of hand and has tragic results. So it's a dark academia. There's rich kids in a rich kid place, and there's probably murder and mayhem, and there's probably like one poor kid. I just want to read this. Sometimes you just need that formulaic bullshit, okay? I need that. I need this. But do I ever get to it? No, I never get to it, but I want to read this. So maybe. The other one does not have a pretty cover because it's a very old book, is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is the like classic gothic novel, and I've never really read it. I've definitely watched adaptations for BBC, but I've never read this, and I really would like to. And I thought I could maybe read this edition, but this edition is really falling apart. And I think while we're away this weekend, and we're in the woods and we're gonna have a day where we go to this really lovely bookstore in town, I might try to find myself a copy that is more easy to read because this I don't want the pages to fall out of. So this edition is from 1937 and that binding needs help. I need a friend who can bind books who can fix this. I would also like to finish Solenoid before the end of the year. I'm enjoying this weird like cerebral fourth dimension read, but I also need to be in the right headspace for it. And I'm not really there. I go in and out. And it's not a book that like I have it on audiobook. I also have an ebook. It's not a kind of book that I can just listen to on audio. And it's also not the kind of book that I could just read. I have to pair them together so that I can get immersed and then believe all of the weird things that are happening. Also, sometimes I don't want to listen to an old man talk about his sexual conquests. Sometimes I just want to like not do that. So yeah, it's difficult for me to get in the mood for Solenoid. When I am in the mood, I'm really thoroughly enjoying myself, but to get there is difficult. And then finally, I keep saying this and I will keep saying this until I do it. I want to start The Wandering Inn because I keep seeing everybody talking about this. It sounds so freaking good. It sounds so up my alley, but I'm to start because it's 1,000 pages and that's just the first book. It's over 1,000 pages actually. And once I go down this, I don't, will I read anything else ever again? I think what I need to do is create time in my life where I just read Wandering In. Maybe it's what I do before bed, after I journal. I don't know. But I really do want to get into this and I want to have like set up some sort of uh system, process, habit so that I can be reading this and get into this world and enjoying myself. But I also know that like I think book 2 is even longer, so this could be the rest of my life. So that is everything I've read already in October. I'm currently reading what I hope to maybe get to before December time. There's also some books for Nonfiction November, which is coming out in a podcast episode that Amy and I are doing later in the month. So you can check that out at tbrlowdown.com when that episode comes out at the end of October for what I'm hoping to read in November. I won't be doing a separate November TBR because it's mostly going to be these books all over again, whatever is left over, plus my couple nonfiction books. And it's also NaNoWriMo. So I will be getting myself ready for Nano. That's the other thing that's happening on vacation. And there's a bunch of rain that's coming in. So we're not going to be able to go on as many hikes and whatnot. I want to focus on getting my planning ready for NaNoWriMo. I've had a book sort of very loosely, like, they just like a brain dump idea, and I am trying to just plot it out through beats, like outline the beats for the story so that I can write it. I think it'll be a little easier than the fantasy series that I've been working on. That by working on, I mean I haven't picked it up in months. I need to get back to writing. I do enjoy it. I just need more time. I need more time. I need more time. Don't we all? Anyway, so let me know what you're reading for fall. Let me know what you're reading for like the spooky season, the haunted season, the October reads. Let me know if you have any nonfiction books that you're reading for Nonfiction November, because we're not going to be doing this in November. So let me know. Tell me down below. That's it. This has been a very long video, and I still have to edit it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think